Strand Warlocks, aka Broodweavers, are going to dominate the PvE space after Bungie just released all of the Strand fragments early. What's up, Guardians? It's Next Up Nova, and welcome to today's video where we will be covering and showing off an extremely powerful Strand Warlock build in the new Lightfall expansion. This build is centered around Threadlings and the new Warlock exotic boot Swarmers, as well as the Quicksilver Storm auto rifle, which recently received a catalyst. Using this deadly combo, you can create endless amounts of tangles that you can shoot and split into tons of Threadlings that destroy waves of targets. Strand Warlock specializes in the creation and use of Threadlings, which is the main goal of this build. If you don't care about the deep dive of this build and just want to know the exact things to run, check this out. Now without further ado, let's jump straight in. Starting off, there are 3 basic Strand Verbs and 2 objects you need to understand before we move forward. The first is Suspend, where an enemy is lifted off the ground and disabled, which means they are unable to attack you. The second is Unravel, which causes threads to burst out of the target and attack other nearby targets. The third is Sever, which reduces the damage output of the affected target. The first object is a Threadling, which is a small ground-seeking object that Warlocks specialize in creating. The second object is a Tangle, which is created by unraveling targets or some special weapon fragments, and perks like the Quicksilver Storm Catalyst. Firstly, we will obviously be running the brand new Warlock Strand Super Needle Storm. For the melee, we will be using Arcane Needle, which actually has 3 charges, which is something unique to Strand. We will be using Burst Glide for movement purposes. As for the grenade, we will be using the Threadling Grenade, which you can consume to generate a full complement of perched Threadlings, which further increases the amount we will be generating with this build. Now, here are the aspects we will be running with this build. Firstly, we have Weaver's Call. On Riftcast, the Warlock weaves 3 Threadling eggs, which hatch into Threadlings when they hit a surface. Any perched Threadlings are converted into additional eggs. Next, Mind Spun Invocation. This aspect improves several of the Warlock's abilities: Grapple, Threadling Grenade, and Shackle Grenade. However, we will be using the Threadling Grenade here. The Threadling Grenade is benefited from this aspect by the following. Threadling Grenade. You can consume your Threadling Grenade to generate a full complement of perched Threadlings. Now for the fragments. Firstly, Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. This is very strong for regenerating your Threadling Grenade very quickly, as anytime you're dealing damage, you get a very large amount of grenade energy back, which is one of the main components to this build. Thread of Evolution. Threadlings travel further and deal additional damage. This increases your Super's DPS massively, as well as your neutral game abilities. Thread of Transmutation. While you have Woven Mail, Weapon Final Blows create a Tangle. With this fragment, not only Quicksilver Storm, but also your non-strand weapons will also generate tangles. Lastly, we have Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. Woven Mail gives you 65% damage resistance in PvE, which is essential to have in in-game content, and I highly recommend running this fragment. Now, let's show a few notable artifact perks that make this build even better. You're going to be running Authorized Mod Strand and Authorized Mod Grenades to reduce the energy costs of the armor mods relating to that type. Now you're going to run multi-siphon mods to also do the same thing for your siphon mods on your helmet. Next is Untangler. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon suspends targets damaged by the explosion, which is another very easy way for Strand Warlocks to suspend, as they don't have any easy ways to suspend necessarily. Now we have Allied Unraveling. Rapid final blows with a strand weapon grant your weapon unraveling rounds, with a longer duration near allies. Lastly, we have Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. This reminds me of the old Warmind Cell Global Reach mod, except this time it's a lot stronger because it actually intrinsically works with a subclass. Now I'm going to be telling you about the Swarmer's exotic boots. Destroying a tangle spawns Seeking Threadlings. This allows you to generate Threadlings in an extra way, which stacks with the mentioned aspects, fragments, and abilities. Now, moving on to armor mods. On your helmet, you want to run Hands On to give you extra super energy on melee kills, and siphon mods to generate Orbs of Power for Woven Mail. For this example, I have Forbearance and Quicksilver Storm, so I can run Strand and Arc siphons. On your gauntlets, you want to run 3 Grenade Kickstart mods, which pair well with armor charge being generated by your siphon mods. Grenade Kickstart reads: when your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. Additionally, your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. On your chest piece, you want to run triple damage resistance, specifically one of each damage type. I typically run Solar Resist, Void Resist, and Arc Resist, but you can also run Stasis Resist or Concussive Dampener if you prefer those. On your legs, I'm running both Strand and Arc Surges to match my Quicksilver Storm and Forbearance. However, if you also want to use a damage-based heavy weapon like a rocket, you can add a weapon surge for that weapon's element as well. Lastly, on your Bond, you want to run both Time Dilation and Bomber. You can use a different combination of these two mods though, as it's all preference. Time Dilation allows you to extend the time in which you are armor charged when you pick up an Orb of Power, and it stacks when you apply more of that mod. Bomber allows you to generate grenade energy when you use your Rift. Anyways, that about wraps up the Strand Warlock build. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel with post notifications on so you don't miss any more damage testing, builds, guides, etc. from me. Comment down below what videos you'd like to see, and have a fantastic rest of your day, Guardians. Peace.